So welcome Krishnan, Aniket, Sachit, and Soumya, and thanks a lot for agreeing to this, especially at such short notice. I generally do IMA roundtable in the last week of March, but this time it just got too extended because I also went for a small trip and then everything got delayed. But thanks a lot for doing this. That too, when you have to leave for campus in next 2 to 3 days. Uh, Before we proceed, there are 30, 40 people listening to all of you. I'm assuming 10 more of them will also join in next 5 to 10 minutes. So why don't you guys just have a quick introduction and we will go alphabetically. So Aniket, why don't you
Yeah,
start?
so hello everyone. My name is Aniket. I have around 8.5 years of work ex primarily in EPC business in the energy sector. So we do our company Technip Energies does projects for oil and gas clients. And I am into the business development and proposal management. That was what I was doing previously. And yeah, excited to join Ahmedabad.
Yeah, Krishna.
Hello all. I'm Krishnan from Bangalore. I've done my undergrad in mechanical engineering, and I also have around 8.5 years of experience. I worked in the metro train and locomotive manufacturing sector with Alstom, a French conglomerate, and then in Alstom, I've dabbled across multiple roles in new product development, quality systems, project management, and yes, now I'll be going to IIM Ahmedabad for my MBA.
Yes, Sachit and then Soumya.
Yes. Hi, everyone. So my name is Sachit. I come from Meerut. I am a chartered accountant by qualification. I qualified in 2019. After that, I have done a couple of roles. I have worked with Coca-Cola in India, one of the bottlers for in operations supply chain. Before that, I was with Hindustan Times, working in financial management, and I've also had a startup of my own. I've worked that for 2 years. I've created a business of my own. Very happy to be here. All the very best for everyone, and looking forward.
Yes, Soumya.
So, hey everyone, my name is Soumya. I am a data analyst by trade. I have around 9 years of experience. Started my journey with TCS, worked there for 5 years, and then switched to Deloitte, where I worked for 4 years as a supply chain and operations consultant. Overall, I have done my undergraduate in electrical engineering, and yeah, happy to be here and excited to be of help.
Okay, so I'll quickly come to the point. One of the major things that people are really, really scared about IIM Ahmedabad PGPX is the interview. There are people who have come to the such sessions, uh, who have talked at great lengths about PGP, the crazy stories, the horror stories about PGPX interview. We have also understood one thing that it doesn't happen with everyone. It actually depends on the panel. Some panel are actually very sweet and very kind, even though it will always be on the stressful side. It will never be an extremely chilled interview. You must be having what is happening. Why is this screen sharing happening? Yeah, you must be having some crocodile skin, as someone said in last call, to be able to do uh, to perform well in ISP interview. Sorry, I'm Ahmedabad interview. What exactly was your experience? I want this from all of you. That what exactly happened in the PGPX interview? We can go backwards this time. So Soumya, why don't we start?
Yeah. So overall, my experience was not quite as I expected. Although even though I went prepared, this will be a stressful interview, but still, it was not uh, as light as I had expected it. It was even more stressful than that. So
Okay.
they did not go into generic questions like why MBA, what is your post MBA target, like how can you contribute to the cohort, all of these questions which I had prepared. They did not go into that at all. They deep dived straight up into my work ex. So after the extempore, right? After the extempore, they deep dived straight into my work ex. They asked me detailed questions about why I did something I did, what would I do it different now that I know like how the project has ended and about my learnings so about that project. And then they moved on to some socio-economic questions like if the India stops buying crude oil from Russia, because at that time the crude oil crisis from
Cool.
Russia was going on. So
Yeah.
if India stops buying crude oil from Russia, how will it impact the economic conditions within India?
Okay.
And then we also moved on to because I am from Kolkata, so they asked me one final questions about the migrant situation from Bangladesh in Kolkata.
Everything they want to know about the
Yeah,
same.
it was a mixed bag.
Okay. Aniket, what about you?
Yeah, so my interview, I would say, was on the more chiller side. I think I
Yes.
got a better panel. And so it started off with the extempore. So my extempore topic was the sole motive of the corporation should be ensuring that the shareholders are increasing their wealth. So that was the topic of the extempore.
Hmm.
So discussion on that lasted for around 5 to 10, yeah, around 5 to 10 minutes, and then the next 10 to 15 minutes were basically questions more related to my work experience, not too much technical, because the panelists, I later got to know that their domains were something different from what I was doing, but mainly on the behavioral side and how you manage different challenges at work, conflicts, how you resolve conflicts, how you are managing a big team, and when you're doing some work and if your team members are engaged in different projects, how do you ensure that your work is prioritized over other commitments, and all, like, mainly on the work part, but mostly on scenario based or situational based questions, less on the technical part, and 2 or 3 questions regarding future career goals, why MBA.
Okay.
So it was fairly decent, I would say.
Okay. Yeah. Uh,
Yeah,
I
I can go next.
yes.
So, uh, okay. So, in fact, one coincidence is that all four of us who are sitting here, all of us had our interview on the campus itself.
Yeah, because I asked all of you guys to go to campus.
Mm.
Obviously,
Yes.
all of you are
Uh,
round one people, and all round one people I strictly asked that please go because Vikram strongly said in the call in the info session that all of you should come to campus. So obvi
Mm.
it's
Yeah,
obvious.
so just to give all of you who would be applying this year a heads up, probably some of you are also re-applicants from this year.
Hmm.
Whenever you fill in your application, you have a choice to choose the location of the interview. And
Yes.
as Anshul was saying, we also had a session with Mr. Vikram Goyal, who was the head of the admission. So he had insisted that we come to campus to attend our interview. So, in fact, to speak about my interview experience, in fact, my interview was the very last interview of the day. And so, usually, when we had gone to campus on that day, there were four panels who were taking interview. And there were throughout the day, there were around 25 people per day who were giving their interviews. So, around 100 people were having their interviews on a given day. So yeah, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, around 300 people had their interview in campus. So for the extempore, you would be given a bowl which has a chit from which you have to you would have to pick up a chit, and then you would have to speak on the topic which is given. However, that's not the end of it. If you're not okay with the topic, you can put that chit back, and you can also take another chit, and you can start speaking on that. So I picked up my first chit and I spoke on the first chit itself, and the topic was about whether junk foods should come with a label as sin foods. Something similar to like how our cigarettes and all
Cigarette.
come with a warning signs that smoking is injurious to health. So I spoke. I spoke for the topic, and I also kept my stance. They were trying to divert left and right. They were going, you know, they were totally trying to deviate away from the topic. They were talking about why this risk won't be there with home cooked foods, and then why some other foods don't pose this risk. How can you ensure people's protein intake? So, and then don't foods which are cooked with air fryers, don't they come with such risks when they're cooked at home? Do you apply the same yardstick for sweet meats? So I was just sticking to my stand. And the best part is that these people sometimes, the professors, the interview would be taken by a panel of professors only and not alums like it happens in probably ISB interviews. And the panel, yes, they might not show their reactions on their faces, but they sometimes do tend to be smiling assassins. So as Anshul said at the beginning of the call, you would have to develop a thick skin or a
Yeah.
crocodile skin and hold your argument. And then after that, there were some general discussions about my work experience, about some of the materials we use in the train interiors, and then about some quality issues which we faced in our industry, and then know how we could have taken a different decision, and then short discussion about post MBA goals, which was from the essays. In fact, when you go to the interview itself, the professors they have a copy of your resume and also uh,
Essays.
the essays which we have filled. And I could also sense that because whatever answer I gave, they were quite convinced when I was able to tell the same story which I had written in my essays.
Yeah.
So I felt,
Someone else told me they kind of match
yes,
match what you have written in your essays. Are you communicating something similar in the interview or not?
yes. So this was my experience, and yeah, it was the last interview of the day. It wasn't too grilling, but yes, even though it was the last interview of the day, they were in their full spirits, and even I was also in my full spirits, and I was able to convert it.
Okay. Yes, Sachit, how was your experience?
Yeah, so as luck might have it, me and mine and Aniket's interview was on the same panel, and it was like back to back
Nice.
slots. I mean, so similar experience. So, I mean, I went, then Aniket went. We were just standing outside the interview, same panel. So, just to talk about the interview, so as Aniket said, like there were two professors. But I checked back later. One was from organizational behavior, and one was
Okay.
from marketing. That's why they could not go technical for us.
Hmm.
But having said that, they were fairly uh, aware, and they were trying to check our general awareness as well as to what do we know, how do we know things, and I mean, what is our perspective on a lot of things. So to give you an example, my extempore topic, I don't remember the exact thing, but it was
Hmm.
on the lines of that whether India should invest money in the sporting infrastructure when there are more compelling things to invest money on. And I chose to speak in the favor of the topic. I decided like, no, we should spend in sporting infrastructure, and they had like very valid arguments they had to make as to how there is a lot of problems, and then like they wanted to give like local example as to like the Narendra Modi Stadium is built just around the campus, and like how it's not being used to the fullest capacity. The government is spending so much money in its use, and like it's not getting that level of returns, and so many things. uh, Again, it just went on back and forth. I maintained my stance on it, and I also had certain points to give. And it, from an overall perspective, it was a reasonable civil discussion. And then from a general perspective, they also wanted to know about my background. So my name is Sachit Yaramili, and I'm from Meerut. So, and then they, how does this match? How can you be a South Indian and born and brought up in like North
I
India?
also had asked this question in mock to you.
Yeah. And like, then how is that happening? And then they wanted to know a lot about the general awareness. Like, what do you know about Meerut? And then they connected that to, so I was working with one of the bottlers of Coca-Cola.
Yeah.
So, and then they wanted to, so a lot of sugar manufacturing, sporting manufacturing. They said, how are you what are the sugar opportunities that are available? Oh, how does this happen? What is Meerut famous for? And they wanted to like generally know that how aware am I? Even though they cannot talk a lot about technicals, they were generally general awareness as to how things are happening. And then the questions flowed happened to, why do I want to do an MBA? What do I exactly do on during a work day? How am I how am I contributing to whatever I'm doing? Overall, it was not a stress interview, but there are a lot of things that you need to keep in mind. Like they would be smiling all this while, but it's a thin line where you need to demarcate between a sarcastic comment and actual representation as they agree on with you or not. And you cannot, while they're always smiling for everything. So I mean, the overall interview experience was great. I thought I would be more confident because I was in this process like taking interviews, taking care of my team, and vagara vagara. But when I went there, the kind of questions that I experienced, it was very unique. As to, I never knew that you can navigate a conversation from a personal to a professional perspective.
Okay. Now, my next question to all of you is that how did you guys prepare specifically for general awareness questions? Did you do anything differently? Any one of you can start.
So, I do not do anything specific, but I have a habit of reading up basically on Economic Times and the Hindu, like
Hmm.
whenever I get time regularly. So that is very, I would say, a very decent source, very unbiased source to get your information. So you can give, proper arguments for extempore. And I think I talked to one or two alums also, so they suggested this.
You talked to a
And
lot of alums for IIM
yes,
Ahmedabad. You were one
yeah,
of the, just to share with everyone, Aniket was one person who always wanted to prioritize IIM Ahmedabad from day one. And guys, if you
yes,
prioritize something and if you work towards it, this is what happens. Even when the seats are only 160 and half of them are reserved. And when the competition is this crazily intense. Just wanted to speak it out for everyone. One thing about Aniket, that he was really, I think I remember I was in Odisha during Rath Yatra when we had a very detailed call. By that time, he had already talked to 6, 7 alums from IIM Ahmedabad.
yes.
So this is the seriousness that all of you should exhibit if you really want to crack it. Yes, sorry, please continue, Aniket.
Yeah, so basically when it comes to the getting your knowledge source, so I think these two sources will be very good. Apart from that, you need to develop connected reasoning while you're discussing on topics. So even though if something is too out of your ballpark, but you need to come up with reasonable points to discuss on particular topic, because none of us will be have expertise on all topics, political, related to technology, related to sports. We'll not cover all our bases, and the only way you'll get better at it if you're doing reasonable amount of practice. So we did a lot of practice. I think groups were formed uh, from this ISB IMA community, and in I think we practiced for around 1.5 months whenever all the people could get time, and that I think really helped, because what I would say was that. I somehow knew that by the end of my extempore, I was pretty sure that I was going to get in. I don't know why, but the points that I made were pretty convincing to them, and they did not come up with a very strong rebuttal to it. They came up with 3 to 4 points, but I could answer them very easily. So I think that preparation of on extempore is I think very, very crucial, because that will basically set the tone of the later part of the interview. So if you are able to do good in that particular aspect, then definitely you will have very strong chance.
Anyone would want to add
Yeah,
about
yeah. I'll
Yeah,
add
I
to
can
it.
go.
Yeah, Krishnan, please go.
Krishnan? Go
Yeah,
ahead.
yeah. Sorry, Sachit. Okay. So, to add to what Aniket was saying, so just to give all of you an idea about the timelines, so we got our, so the way the application for IMA happens is first you fill the form, and then on the basis of the submission, they give you a shortlist for the interview call. And when you receive the shortlist for the interview, within 48 hours, you would have to submit your CV and 3 essays. So from that day onwards, as Aniket was saying, these groups were formed from within the
No, no,
faith.
no. Groups were formed much earlier.
Yeah,
There
yeah,
were
sorry.
multiple groups.
Yes,
Uh,
yes. They
five
were.
to six different groups were working together for extempore.
Yeah, 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 correct. So the groups were formed much before that, but they became more active after we
Yes,
got these calls for the
yes,
interview.
yeah,
So then one good thing what we were doing is, at least in my group, we used to ensure that we were practicing every day, right from
yeah.
September 15th up to October 3rd, which was the day of our interview. We used to practice every day, and we used to pick up at least 2 or 3 topics for the extempore. And then these extempore topics aren't anything out of the blue. You can even get to know the topics of the previous year's extempore from many of the forums like the GMAT Club,
Met
to get
club.
an idea of where you have to prepare, apart from the current affairs of what's going on. And also, whoever had their interviews in the previous days or previous rounds, we got an idea of what topics were they had got, and we did a quick preparation based on what information we got from the business line or economic times, and also uh, we were preparing our arguments. And as Aniket was saying, you don't have to know everything about the subject, and even the professors also might not know everything about the subject. What they actually judge or check is your train of thought, how consistent you are with your arguments, and how you stick with it,
Also, how
and
you
you know,
structure your
and
argument.
yeah, how you structure your arguments, and that is what they basically assess in the interview. And once they get a fair idea and confidence, in the extempore itself, I think they more or less decide your selection.
Yes, Sachit.
Yeah, so I would answer this question in two ways. So general awareness, I'll divide it into two parts. Like one of it would be a general awareness as to like the Iran war is happening as of now.
Hmm.
There are a couple of the gold price, silver prices moving here up and down. This is general awareness. And then the second part of general awareness would be probably your industry awareness, wherever you're working, whatever is like your workplace, and what is essentially happening in that industry. How is it going in the future, what is not happening, what are the problems that are there, what are the new opportunities that might be there. So I mean, for the second part of it, before going into an interview, we should have like a fairly reasonable idea as to what is happening in my industry, how is it moving. And it's a very good area to, because a lot of these questions that you that will be marked towards you as to what do you do in work, you can relate a lot of answers to it, even if they ask you generally or even they ask you specifically as to what is happening in your industry. And from a general perspective, I will second to what Krishna and Aniket said. I think extempore practice adds a lot of value. And I think doing a 1 or 2 month extempore practice, it's like fun. It's like two people having a conversation, just debating about random topics, and then you can build on a structure to it, and that essentially helps you build up a lot of confidence. And so, I remember the topics that came to people. I mean, uh, there were topics that you might have never even heard of. Like there was a topic on greenwashing. I think that's repeated a couple of times, uh, but the idea being you cannot choose that part. Like what is the kind of topic that's coming to me? So this general awareness and extempore practicing plus knowing a lot about your industry, is that something that you can control, and you should do it. Apart from that, some good topics to see is general news following. Maybe if you have a habit to read, then you can pick up newspapers, Hindu, TITOI or something. Or maybe nowadays, like listening to podcasts or some news channels on YouTube are also a great source. Like you can probably listen to them on the go. Maybe last 1 month before your preparation, whenever it's that 1 to 2 months, and it'll give you a fair idea as to what's really happening in the industry, market, news, world, globe, whatever.
Soumya, you want to add something or
Yeah.
some?
So, my experience for the general awareness preparation would be something like, be aware of what's happening around you and then connect it back to the world around you. So basically, let's say the Iran US Israel war is happening, how it might affect the domain or the industry that you are working on. So these are some of the things that you need to look out for. This is the way you need to have your point of view when you're preparing. And then for extempore, I think I missed saying it out the last time. My topic was, should schools ban exams for students who are younger than 15 years of age?
Hmm.
And then I somehow took the bold decision, like in that point of time, to speak against it at IIM Ahmedabad.
Wow.
So
Nice.
Uh, yeah, so basically, one thing they do check in extempore, I think these three guys covered it really well. But one additional thing that they check really well is that how well do you react under adverse or even hostile conditions.
Yes. Yes.
So they pressure test you, and you are expected to keep a straight smile on your face and answer them back equally respectfully and
Yes.
politely as much as possible with a structured chain of thought, of course. You
Yeah.
cannot just say random gibberish and they will automatically call you out on it. But yeah, that is one thing that is very important.
Whatever I wanted to highlight, you guys have already highlighted, but I will just again repeat few things which are very, very important for IIM Ahmedabad. One thing, they will decide by the time you end your extempore only if they are taking you or not. Rest of the interview is just a formality. This only not these four are telling. This is a common consensus from past admits also. You can go and see the roundtable that was done last year. It is uploaded on YouTube. Second, you have to be respectful while counteracting their points. You have to take a side first in the beginning. You have to stick to that side. And while they are constantly, they will keep negating you and criticizing your point of view. You have to hold on to your point of view while supporting it through structured and factual answers and figures, if you have some figures to support. If you're able to do this for 10 minutes, you are in. Rest of the entire interview is just a formality. One more thing I wanted to highlight, I completely forgot while introducing these people. Sachit and Soumya also cracked IIM Bangalore EPGP, which had further less seats. It has only 55 seats. So again, I have talked enough about trickle down effect. You work hard for one school, you will eventually end up cracking other schools as well. Okay, I think this is all I wanted to ask you guys. We will open it up for questions. If there are no questions, we'd be very happy to end the session because everything that I want to highlight, I've already. Yeah, Akshay.
Hi, good evening. Thank you so much, Anshul, for
You need to switch on your camera,
yeah,
Akshay.
it's on, right? Is it
No, it's
switched on?
not. It's not. Yes.
Yeah. Hi, good evening. Thank you so much. I have actually practiced with few of the people here who got
Hmm.
selected. So thank you so much for your time. Just wanted to ask again during extempore, let's say that we our point is there, and obviously they will say something which is correct as well. So what I usually used to do is that I used to agree somewhat, but then I would still say and emphasize that my point is better or my point is correct because of these things, while I understand your point can does make sense, but this makes sense more or something like that. So is that how you tackle it, or there is some other way to tackle it as well? This question is open to you
Yeah,
as
yeah.
well as
No, no,
everybody.
I will not answer this. Let these people answer. They have just been through this crazy process.
Yeah.
So I can take this up.
Yeah.
So Akshay, you can answer it the way you just mentioned. You just have to be respectful as to their point as well. You cannot vehemently disagree as to whatever they are trying to tell you. If that's like a very valid point, and if they, let's say, they have said something which is factually also based, you can accept it, agree to it, yet put your point why you think the way you think. uh, Having said that, you should maintain your stance. You should not move away from your stance as to whatever you think, whether you are pro or against the topic. You should put forward your point and respectfully agree to them if that's a very valid point. If you think that you have enough and more arguments to disagree and prove against them, then you should mention those points as well, as it will genuinely benefit you. Like, for example, I'll give you, I was talking about FDI in my extempore, and they said that FDI is useless. Like, I was talking about sporting infrastructure. They said, like, no, nothing is happening in sporting infrastructure. So I had an example to give. I talked about two things that was happening. So when I gave the interview that day, there was a match that was happening, India versus I think South Africa, if I'm not wrong. And then there was also a Coldplay concert that happened a couple of months before on that same stadium. So I
Yeah.
gave them as a factual argument for both these things, and they were happy about it. As to they said that it's useless expenditure. So many expenses are happening. What are you saying? And I had like 2 points as to give like a use case to why the Narendra Modi Stadium is not as bad as an expenditure as it may be. So it seemed on their face like they were convinced by it, while they were still disagreeing, showing me faces as to what are you saying, kind of
Yeah.
like that. But it still made sense. So that's what I think about.
Sure, thank you so much. Also, I think everybody here said that extempore is the time where they kind of either you're in or you're out.
Yeah.
So my question then is कि इतने जो हमने मेहनत करी है प्रोफाइल बनाने में वो मतलब मैटर ही नहीं करता है
नहीं नहीं ऐसा नहीं है. It's not like it doesn't end on extempore. Let's just say your extempore went really well.
Yeah,
And then you say something stupid for the real interview. They might negate, come back and cancel it, right?
Okay.
Extempore is like the very strong first impression that you make, which mostly will decide your admit decision.
Got
And
it.
again, this is not a rule that is written somewhere. This
Mm-hmm.
is what we have deduced after talking to so many of admits,
Got it. Got
right?
it.
So many of admits. We have many more admits. Today, I've only invited those who are actually going to IIM Ahmedabad. I've not invited those who are going to ISB, right?
Got it.
But even those people communicated the same. Last year, we did a with six, seven, eight people over two sessions. Everyone kind of agreed with it. So it's a strong consensus that extempore, if you do it well, most of the battle is won.
Mm-hmm. Got it. And this is to the panel now, the whole panel, that जो groups बन के extempore practice होती है, how different is that from the real interview? If you know, I'll ask this to Aniket first, and then everybody else.
Hi, Akshay. First of all,
Hi.
nice seeing you after such a long time.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we, Akshay and a couple of us, we practiced writing
Yeah.
on, I think, lot of occasions. So, Akshay, I would say that lot of it depends on the kind of panel you'll have. If the panel is, you know, kindly more on the civil side and more kind, so they will give you rebuttals. It's not like they will not give you rebuttals, but it'll be much more civil. And on few panels it has happened that when we were just taking the feedback from other people who are going through the interview, so for them it was like a completely different experience than what me or Sachit had, because our panel was slightly on the kinder side, I would say. So that depends much on the panel, but surely they will counter you. It's not like they will not counter you, just the way they'll counter you is going to be different. And coming to your earlier question, yeah, it's I think it's fair enough that if they're making a strong argument, then saying that it's completely wrong, or not valid, it would be a bad stance to go about it. You should just politely you cannot you should not accept it downright, but you have to acknowledge it somehow, I would say. And the one thing I understand why the extempore part is very important for them, like this is my opinion, is because when you're working at very high level positions, when you're working in corporate boardrooms, you'll have to figure out a way to diplomatically get your point across so that the decisions are made in a particular way. Basically, you have to drive consensus across teams and you have to come out with a decision. And for that, you have to also have your voice taken about strongly in whatever situation you are in. Plus, you have to think pretty quickly in your on your feet. You have to think in the moment, and that's why I feel that they have this more emphasis on extempore, because it's kind of situations you'll face when you're in higher level positions at work, that you need to come out, you need to have quick thinking, you need to come out with good decisions in a very short span of time, and you need to drive the discussion so that outcomes are good, I would
One
say.
thing I wanted to highlight that the reason this is very different than ISB interview is the reason is the kind of people they are taking. ISB takes a lot of people with 2 to 4 years of work experience, while for IIM Ahmedabad, four is the bare minimum. Four is the eligibility, minimum eligibility criteria. So IIM Ahmedabad is a small batch and they want people they don't want. They generally tend to give you a direct leadership question, a leadership position. Most of the people from, even if you'll see the placement of last year, they are in a leadership role. They are in a people management role. They are in a decision making role. There is no management trainee. There is no junior associate kind of roles available at IIM Ahmedabad. You are directly sitting at the boardroom for most of the cases. So they would want that anyone who is coming to IIM Ahmedabad has some leadership etiquettes already inculcated into them. This is what they test in the interview. And they are very particular about it. They don't have a varied panel. There is only three panel, and they are the panel at least since 3 years. They are the same panel who are taking interview of everyone. So though also maintain certain kind of uh, kind of how do I say, objectivity in how they take interview, even though it differs between panel to panel. As one panel is really, really brutal, one panel is kind, one panel is in between, but they maintain this pattern also. At least they are maintaining since last 3 to 4 years, is what I have noticing. So there is no place of being frivolous in an IMA interview. There is no place, you cannot be kind of chill. You cannot use any casual or unprofessional language. You definitely have to be very, very well dressed. You have to be on the top of your professional game, if I can put it in a nutshell. These are very small, small things, but it will have much more effect on your IMA interview if you compare that to, let's just say, ISV.
Thank you so much, Anshul.
Right? So, guys, it's for everyone. Please take note. Yes, Sumit.
Yeah, thanks, Anshul. My question was specifically for Sachit. Given you had entrepreneurial work and then corporate work as well, eventually during the interview, was the recency bias in the questions that the interviewers were asking you, like were they geared more towards your recent work experience or mixture of your entrepreneurial work experience questions as well? Just want to understand how they navigated that.
Yeah. Hi, Sumit. My question was were based on my recent job rather than my entrepreneurial
Hmm.
experience, but that's not a thumb rule, I will say.
Hmm.
uh, I in my IIM Bangalore interview, I was only asked about my startup, and they went in great depths as to what I did, how I did, like even going up to GST sales and round in drilling as to what I was doing in that. So there is no thumb rule to it. Coming back to only IIM Ahmedabad, it was not a very technical interview. Therefore, I don't think they went a lot in those details. Having said that, they wanted to understand what is the job that I'm trying to do, and exactly what I was doing, rather than the jargons as to this is corporate strategy or strategy. They exactly wanted to know what am I doing on a daily basis on my job when I'm sitting and doing my
Hmm.
work. So yeah, to answer your question, recent job was more focused in my interview, but I don't think that's a thumb rule from what I understand from the other people that give the interviews.
Understood. Thanks.
One more thing, IIM Ahmedabad might keep jumping from one topic to another topic while taking interviews.
Hmm.
They will not do deep. If they want, they can, but not necessarily all the questions would be centered around one topic where they are deep diving like they do at ISP.
Hmm.
They might ask you one or two deep diving question on one topic. Quickly, the next question would be of something else from your application or your resume. You have to be quick enough to be ready to answer immediately about something which is very different.
We'll try to poke holes in your initial
Yes.
answers, and if है, then we'll do deep. नहीं है तो we won't.
Yes.
Okay.
Trust me, if you get that bad panel, which everyone talks about, then they will go to every nook and corner of your application to stress the hell out of you. And your job would be to maintain your composure and keep answering.
I agree to it 100%.
Understood. Thanks.
Yes, Shivam.
So, hi Anshul. My question is if the extracurriculars matter while we are applying to IIM A PGPX or in general to ISB or IIM-BC, and if yes, is there a need of a spike in those extracurriculars? That's
इत,
my question.
इतना सेशन मैंने कर लिया शिवम. You still are answering this. The answer is no, no, a big no.
No, I had not attended that particular session.
Which
If it,
particular? In
yeah,
every session we talk about this, and every session I mentioned it's not needed. It's not
so,
needed at all. No, what do you mean by spike? There is no spike. Talk about what you have done properly, and that is your spike. That's it. These are all random myths. I don't think any of the people who are attending this session today have anything spiky in extracurricular. Please, guys, if you had something, please correct me. But I don't think any one of them had. And even for ISP, it's not needed. These are random myth people float.
okay. Great to
Yeah,
have it cleared. Thank you.
yeah, I would like to add to what Anshul was saying.
Yeah.
I don't think we have anything like a spike like what you have you're like, thinking of.
Yeah,
Okay.
and again, not only for IMM, even for ISP, there's no spike and all. If you have something already, great. Even if you don't have it, it's absolutely not needed.
Okay.
But yeah, these people, at least I can talk about these four because they are present. They are master of what they have done, and they can narrate you in a very impressive way about everything that they have done in their job. Krishnan and Aniket have only worked in the same company throughout their career of 7 to 8 years. But if you'll ask them, they will explain their entire work in a layman term, even though both of them work in very, very niche field.
Mm.
ठीक है Sachit and Soumya have worked in more relatable uh, domain, but Krishna and Aniket have only worked in the same field, same company for all these years. But the way they have done things, it is very impactful, and they can communicate it to you in a very impactful way as well.
Okay.
That's what matters.
Right. Actually, I attended the last two sessions. The first one was of the advocate.
Hmm.
Sorry, I'm missing the name. And
Partha.
yeah, prior to that was that of the guy who had the who was a UPSC aspirant as well.
Yeah,
Apart
none of
from
them had
giving
any
an opinions.
extracurricular.
Yeah, so in that session, actually, this was not passed. That's why I might have
No
missed.
problem, no
That's
problem.
yeah. Thank you, thank you, Arch. Thank you.
Yes, Saurabh.
Hi, am I audible?
Yes, you're audible.
Okay, congratulations, first of all, to all four of you to making it to IIM Ahmedabad PGPX. My question is specifically to Krishnan. So, I myself am a mechanical engineer. I was working as an NPI engineer before, so new product introduction engineer in a German OEM. And my question is, what roles are you specifically targeting at IIM A PGPX? So I've gone, yeah, maybe you can elaborate, please.
This is
Yeah.
an MBA interview question, but okay.
Yeah. So, Saurabh, thank you. Good to know that you're also from the same background. So, after PGPX, I am targeting general management roles because I have a bit of experience in all the fields in my previous work experience. I've done a bit of new product development like you. I've been in quality systems, I've done vendor development, I've been in project management, which was my last assignment. So, with all this experience and what
Operations as well.
Yes, yes. So with all this experience and what learnings I get from PGPX, I know that I'll be good enough to work as a general manager in any of the top conglomerates or the other companies in a straight away to move to the leadership roles, as Anshul was speaking about. So that is what I am targeting, Saurabh. I don't know much about your bandwidth or years of experience and other things what you have. Probably, we can connect one to one offline after this call, and I can guide you over there.
Sure, Krishnan. Thank you so much. Yeah, that answers my question. Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else? Guys, if you don't have any question, then I'd be more than happy to leave these four of them who have called on a very short notice. Yes, Satyam.
Yeah, hi everyone. So I had a question regarding if in the interview we get asked questions regarding our future goals, future career goals. So should the approach to that question would be similar to what is supposed to be at ISB, like explaining about the clubs or the faculties or the electives that you might take, or is it something different for IIM Ahmedabad because the professors are taking the interview?
No, it would be the same, but your post MBA goal should be completely aligned with what IIM Ahmedabad can provide you.
Okay.
For example, IIM Ahmedabad is generally, let's just say you will write FMCG sales role.
Hmm.
IIM PGPX has never provided anyone that role. They provide this role to PGP people, 2 year MBA at IIM Ahmedabad. But at
Okay.
ISB, FMCG sales role is very reputed role for marketing
Yeah,
people like
correct.
for HUL and PNG. But PGPX will not do that because it's kind of a junior role. So first of all, you need to be completely aligned with the PGPX placement report. Your answer should be. And one of the best part about IIM Ahmedabad is that their placement report is very detailed, very, very detailed, and it is 100% true because it is audited by a third party.
Correct. Correct.
So it's very easy to align your post MBA goal to what they can provide you. just by going through their report.
Okay, correct. So
Okay.
it should be based on our post MBA goal, and would it be recommended to refer, like, tell in the interview that we have referred this, like, what is the background for our information that we are speaking, like, to support our goal basically.
I did not
Uh,
understand what.
so, like, if for example, if I say that my goal is consulting, and so should I support it with some facts regarding the placement figures, or
Ideally, you should not talk about placement at all. The
yeah,
placement
correct. No,
is
like something like subjects or electives or something like that.
ideally you should.
Okay, okay.
But any four of you want to add
Yeah,
on
I
to
can say something. So it's
yes.
basically my perspective, and Anshul, you can correct me if I'm wrong. But what I feel was that your main intention during the interview should be to get through the door as and how it's possible, right?
Yeah.
Correct.
So उसके बाद तुम क्या करोगे, it doesn't matter at all. Like you have the complete freedom to pursue any field or any role what you want once you're in PGPX, right?
Yeah.
But I feel that in the interview, your answer to your future goals after MBA should be what basically makes sense for your story, like from the career experience that you have had till now, the educational background that you have had, and your interests. It should also somewhat match your interests. तो उसके ऊपर एक story बना के, that is how you should present it to the panel so that it makes sense. After that, you can pivot as much as you want once you are within the program itself. So no one is going to stop you there.
Yeah, correct. That helps. Thanks.
Anyone else?
Hello all. With respect to the current affairs, for the past, how many months should I be in touch with? And what is the weightage that I have given to the facts and figures? Or should I be focused on more on and getting the opinion on particular events or what? So, yeah.
Good question. Anyone wants to take it?
Yeah, I can take this. So, Vignesh, to answer your question, you know, around yeah, I can say be in touch with all the events of at least 1 year from the date of your interview, at
Yeah.
least 1 year's topics of current affairs. You should have some idea. And definitely it helps, if there is some discussion about some topic, if, for example, Sachit was speaking about this topic of greenwashing, to speak for or against that topic, if your arguments are supported with some facts and figures or some examples of how, some countries are doing it and what good or bad they have achieved because of that, those examples will definitely help. So whatever opinions you make also, definitely it should be on the basis of factual data. It doesn't mean you have to by heart it. Roughly, even if you don't know the exact numbers, maybe some points like some percentage, like uh, some improvement or some reduction, something to justify your argument, it should be there. But you can't speak something in the air without any context or just your opinion. They will definitely catch you, and it can go downhill after that. So you have to be prepared.
Yeah, so
I have
just
one
to
more
add to
question.
that,
Yeah,
please
please.
ask a question. So just saying that I really agree with Christian. So I mean, you can't talk in the air because these professors that were trying to interview you are really smart. They're very well aware, and they're much more aware than you are, honestly, about any topic that they are putting forward in that shit. So facts and figures are not mandatory, but they really help your cause. If you're able to add something to it, it shows that you are aware about the situation, about anything that's there, and it really helps. But having said that, you might get abstract topics that you can't really talk about facts and figures about. So in that case, general chain of thought, mindfulness as to what things are really important. As far as timelines are concerned, I think a reasonable number would be between 6 months to 12 months. But the recent ones from the last 3 to 4 months would be really important. And especially if there is like a major event that's happening, and if that's connected to your sector, if that's somehow impacting your sector, your job, your working something, then that's something that's of primal importance. So focus on that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think like once everyone looks at the past year's topics for Extempore, everyone should get a good idea on how exactly it is structured and what is needed. So yeah.
Yeah, Charisma.
Hello. Hi. I have two questions. One is for the extempore round. How necessary is it for you to be binary or to the extreme of yes or no? If, let's say, there was an example of should we ban exams in the schooling system for under 15-year students, is there any way you can argue that you shouldn't ban exams, but you can conduct exams in a different way? Will that qualify as against, or should you go all the way and say no exams at all? Um,
So what I believe
I
is
don't know.
you
Yeah.
can provide alternatives, because at the end of the day, uh, what you are rejecting is uh, the way currently exams are held. It's not like exam is a umbrella term, right?
Yeah.
So you are rejecting the way exams are held, and yes, you can of course put forward your alternatives, and you can say that this can be a better idea to do it this way, right? So that's completely fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, Karma, I feel that it depends on the depth that you have for that topic. If you think that you are really confident about either the yes or the no for it, and you can defend it to the way through, you should ideally try and choose the binary argument as to wherever you want to swing. But in case you think that it's a neutral topic, or it's probably thin ice that you're working on where you can be easily caught, you can take the middle path as well. But it's slightly riskier, I feel.
Yeah. I have
Uh,
strongly heard from everyone that you should have to take a stand, take one side and
yeah,
keep defending it till the end.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
But only for the topics that are probably like for the education argument that you mentioned, which do not have like a clear yes or a no. You can take
Yeah.
you should still have a stand as to where you want to stay, and then you can still give, probably a professor might give an argument which is against, and it's a very valid argument that he has given, and you probably agree to that person. Then you can agree to that person in detail. Having said that, still put your point, whatever, wherever, in whichever direction it is.
Okay. Thank you. My second question is, in a scenario where the topic can be very statistics oriented or numbers and figures, and you're not very good at that, you end up getting a topic on the economy or anything like that. How can you approach that, or should you take a different topic altogether?
When you say numbers oriented, as in you're saying topics related to finance or something like that, finance and
Or
economics.
or anything where the topic is an argument on this industry should be in this way, for example, and you have not a lot of statistical data to back what the industry is doing right now, and
If
all you
it's
have is
not
opinions in
it's
that
not
scenario.
necessary to have statistical data, but your opinions will have some basis in what you have read or what you have heard, or
Or
what you
experienced
have
also based.
experienced also. Yes.
Yeah.
So you can use that, and if it's something completely different, then you can probably try for another chat. But it's advisable, and the topics are such that you will definitely have an opinion.
Mhm.
Personally, we have been practicing when we were practicing the extemporaries, so none of the topics were such that you did not have, no opinion at all. You'll definitely have some or the other opinion, or some or the other knowledge area connected to it, and you'll have, enough things to speak about. Just it's very important how you structure it and how you reason it when you're giving it to them. So I think that is the more important part, because it's not practically feasible to be an expert in all the domains and remember the statistics. You need to give good reasons, but at the same time you have to be very careful that even if you don't have an exact statistic, so please just don't say something false or tell a false statistics just to sound really smart. I think that will really backfire on you.
Okay. Noted. Thank you.
Okay. We are done with 1 hour and I don't want to take more time. Also because I think everything that needed to be highlighted had already been highlighted and discussed. I hope you guys will take cognizance that, not trying to scare anyone, but take cognizance that how it is going to be very, very different than ISP. And anyone who is preparing for both have to prepare for both of them separately. These are two completely different schools, completely different ethos of how they take admission, how do they conduct interviews, as well as that the kind of people they want to take. Okay. And that's why there is very few overlap between the admits. We have overlap. We have 5 people who got into both, but it's still a very small number. IIM Ahmedabad generally prefers people who are more mature, not necessarily in terms of age. There are many people who are going with 4 to 5 years of work, but more mature in terms of their thoughts. Okay. So please prepare accordingly. We have exactly 5 months from today. August last week would be the deadline for submitting the form of IIM Ahmedabad. Having said that, thanks a lot, all 4 of you. Have a great, great, great time in the campus. And I visit the campus once every year. And of course, I'll visit this year as well. And I will meet with all of you. And thanks a
Thanks,
lot.
Anshul.
And
Thank
Thank
you.
all
you.
the best.
Thank you. Thanks, Anshul.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Anshul.
Anshul,
And
and
all the
all the
very
best.
best, everyone. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, all the very best, everyone.
All the best, guys.